Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the most talented yet underrated greats the game of basketball has ever blessed our eyes with. He is unarguably the most skilled center the game has ever witnessed from his abilities on both ends of the court, from protecting the paint defensively and having a bunch of moves and counters with some of the most beautiful footwork for a man his size offensively. By all accounts, he was a pure example of all the skills and intangibles you would want from your big man to possess. He was graceful dominance and ahead of his time. He was a dream. And when it came around to the time where the game mattered the most, he elevated his game and his team to greater heights. And I'm here to talk about it today. Here is Hakeem Olajuwon, Hakeem the Dream's greatest playoff moments. The 1986 NBA playoffs is where he showed to the world his greatness is to come, as in just his sophomore season, he would lead the Rockets to the 86 NBA Finals. In that postseason run, he averaged 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 to 4 blocks, leading everyone in that postseason in total points with 537 points, total rebounds with 236, and with total blocks with 69. In the semis against the offensively loaded Nuggets, he averaged 29 points, 12 rebounds, 3 to 4 blocks, and 2 steals, defeating them in 6 games, where in the 2 of the 6 games, he had over 5 blocks and steals. But in the next series is where I felt like he really established himself as a superstar in the league. In the conference finals, he faced off against the powerful, iconic team of the 80s basketball and generally in NBA history, the mighty Los Angeles Lakers led by Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy. His Rockets will go on to shock the world, defeating the heavily favored team in 5 games, winning 4 straight after losing the first game. Olajuwon averaged 31, 11, and 4 blocks in that series. But what catches my eye the most is up against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was arguably the basketball GOAT at that point in time. He outdueled and outperformed him in a close battle in both statistics and execution of play. It was like almost in a way a passing of the torch from one great big to another. In the 1987 playoffs, Hakeem will continue his superior dominance, as in the first round against the Portland Trail Blazers, he would average 27 points, 9 rebounds, 2 to 3 steals, and a remarkable 5 blocks. As in Game 1, he put up 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks, and 4 steals. In Game 3 of that same series, he would put up a near triple-double with 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 blocks. In a tough series against the Supersonics in the semifinals, he would average 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks, where despite losing the series, Hakeem will put up a legendary masterpiece of a performance in an attempt to save his team's season, as he will put up 49 points, 25 rebounds, and 6 blocks in the losing effort. In those playoffs, he would average 29, 11, and 4 blocks, which he was the league leader in that year's postseason. Between the years of 88 to 92, due to having a subpar team, Hakeem would usually have to carry his Rockets all the way to the postseason, and he would continue to be his usual dominant self, as he averaged 38 and 17 in the 88 playoffs, led the postseason in rebounds in both 88 and 89, and in Game 2 against the Lakers of the 1990 playoffs, he would put up a triple-double with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 blocks, but will always get bounced out in the first round. But as soon as he got the right pieces and compliments to go for the gold, he went to a different atmosphere to cement his status and legacy as an NBA legend and an all-time great. In 1994 and 1995 will become the glory years for the Dream, as he would lead his team to the pinnacle of success within the league. But that's a story for another time. Let's talk about his journey to get there, as it wasn't easy. He led the postseason in both years in point average with 29 in 94 and 33 in 95. In the 94 postseason, he easily bounced the Blazers in the first round, averaging 34 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 to 4 blocks a game. with a 46-point, 6 blocks, and 4 steals performance in Game 2. He easily got rid of the Stockton Malone Jazz within 5 games in the conference finals, averaging 28, 10 rebounds, 4 to 5 blocks, and 2 to 3 steals. But yet the most difficult task, but yet entertaining one within that postseason, was against the Charles Barkley-led Phoenix Suns within the conference semifinals. As in a grueling 7-game fight, he puts up 29 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. As within that final game, with his team's season on the line, he proceeds to put up a 37-point, 13-rebound masterpiece. Just a beautiful moment. If you thought that his 94 run was special, well, just sit back, because his 95 run was monumental to the history of the game. Entering the 95 playoffs, Hakeem and the Rockets had to face adversity, as despite being the reigning champions, they had a bit of a slump in the regular season and finished as the 6th seed. After being favorites to possibly repeat, most just gave up on them, despite them acquiring Clyde Drexler in the middle of the season. But with his experience, his talent, and his impact, the Dream refused to let his team down and go out bad. To simply put it, he went from the Dream into a nightmare. Facing the Jazz in the first round, he would average 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 to 3 blocks a game, eliminating them in the 5th and final game as he combines for 73 points in the final 2 games of that series. Facing the Suns once again in the conference semifinals, Hakeem and his team will find themselves down in this series 3-1. But thanks to the nice jump shooting of his teammates and the poised team defense that they implemented, they was able to push the Suns to 7 games. And thanks to Mario Elie, they came out on top victorious, with Hakeem averaging 30, 12, and 6 assists in the final 3 games of that series. Now, here's the best one for last. The 95 conference finals, facing the San Antonio Spurs and their newly named league MVP, the Admiral, their best player, who's been battling it out with Hakeem individually for not just the best big in the game, but the best player in the world, David Robinson. The Spurs not only had the best record in the league, but they dusted H-Town in the regular season, 5-1. But that's the regular season, though. Best record, MVP, advantage in the regular season, and they're the favorites entering the playoffs? What could go wrong, right? Well, nobody relayed that message to Hakeem because what he proceeds to do next is, well, you know what?
Olajuwon's MVP
Here's Kenny
trophy.
Smith.
That was the night. The night that he didn't acknowledge Hakeem Olajuwon. David mentioned every player but Dream. And we're playing, and I said to Dream, I'm like, that doesn't make you bad. No, Kenny, he deserves it. Then after the game, he had like 46. He goes, I'm going to his house to get my MVP.
He proceeds to just absolutely torch D-Rob, outshining him in the whole series as he proves to the world who should have been the real MVP. Not to mention, he also torched Dennis Rodman. He basically torched the best defensive front court within that postseason, as the Rockets would defeat the Spurs in 6 games. The Dream will go on to average 35 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. Where in 3 of the 6 games, he had over 40 points. And it could have been 4, as he had a 39-point and 17-rebound performance in the closeout game of the series. And to add a little cherry on top, here is his iconic moment. His beautiful patent dream shake right on Robinson. To end it off, Hakeem the Dream is simply one of the best to ever do it. He was a beautiful talent who got it done on both ends of the floor and always gave it his all. Never giving up, never backing down, never making up no kind of excuses. He made the Rockets into a world-class organization, giving them their only 2 titles in their franchise history. And more importantly, like many of the greats, when it mattered the most, when the game was on the line, with all the glitz and the glory and the gold all the way at the end of the tunnel, he elevated his game to new heights to push his team to win. And it shows, as he's one of the best playoff performers the game has ever seen.